TJ, let's start with an off-the-court issue. Skylar Flatten gets a sixth year from the NCAA, and I know the NCAA gets a lot of flack sometimes, but it's good to see them make a decision like this, and it's good for a kid like Skylar who has worked so hard.
Yeah, it is. With the rules the way that they are, when you're taken out of competition for multiple years due to injuries, you're supposed to be able to have a process and apply for, to get that year back or that year reinstated. And, obviously Skylar had 2 injuries that kept him from participating. And our people on our end, Matt Maher and Kathy Hillings, did a great job. And it's awesome. It's a big news for our program. Skylar's playing with a lot of confidence. Leading the summit and shooting the ball from the 3 and just bringing so much to our team defensively and really helping us. So love to see him back. Couldn't be more thrilled. It's great for him, great for our program.
All right, let's talk about the success on the floor last week. You start with the Oral Roberts game on Thursday. About the 3rd or 4th game, though, you'd had a slow start. Were you seeing any common threads in those slow starts you'd been having?
I think, the other games, on the road, you just kind of get in that rhythm. I think with Oral Roberts, it's just, you see their zone, their length and size, even though you simulate it in practice, it's just not quite the same. And then when you get on the court, it feels a little bit different. So it took us a little bit to get adjusted there. I don't think it has anything to do with our guys' focus or lack thereof or anything we're doing offensively or defensively. I think it's just, teams are coming out and they're gunning for us a little bit too, and they're doing things out of character to try to stop us too, and we've got to be ready to adapt and adjust through the course of the game. So what I've been most pleased with our bunch is that, in particular, last week against Oral Roberts, that we stick together, that we don't panic, we don't get rattled, we play through it, and then, we kind of establish what we're trying to do and play for each other. Our guys have done a great job of that.
You look at the box score and you see only 5 guys in the scoring column, and you think, well, okay, the starters obviously carried most of the load. But then you look at a guy like Brandon Key, who came in off the bench, didn't have any points, but contributed 7 assists.
Yeah, Brandon was sensational in both games last week. I thought he was a huge difference maker for us. Defensive energy and then offensively pushing the pace. He came in the Oral Roberts game. We were down 25-16. When he left the game, we were up 35-34 at half. He changed the entire complexion of that game, got us easy shots, and did the same thing against Denver on Saturday. So, Brandon started for us those first 5 games of the year. Obviously, there's a lot of positive things he brings to the table, and we really think that, he stepped up his game here these last couple.
Let's talk about Oral Roberts for a second. Chris Miller is a big kid and tough to guard.
Yeah, no, they're big and physical. With Miller on the inside, he's a load. Albert Owens has been a force in this league for many years, and Javon White, and even Emmanuel Nezekezi. They got 4 guys, 6'8" and bigger. A couple of those guys are 250-pound guys. And, they're just trying to pound you in the paint. They do a good job of continuing to stay focused and going inside, and their players understand what they're trying to accomplish. And they were effective against us. There's got to be some things we need to adapt and adjust as we move forward and play against them. But, overall, they're a good team and a very physically imposing team.
But for you to out-rebound that group and limit their second chances speaks a lot to you guys.
Yeah, we tried to stay out of rotation and played some of those post-ups one-on-one, and because they really start trying to rebound that backside before they even take a shot. So we want to make sure we stayed intact there and kept, whether it was Telling Houston or Tyson or whoever, trying to block out on that backside. And I thought our guards did a good job, especially down the stretch, of hunting down rebounds. And that's what you got to do against a big physical team like that. It's not a 2 or 3 man effort. It's got to be all 5 guys on the boards.
And those offensive rebounds late, just extending the clock and keeping the ball in your hands and making it harder for them to catch up.
Yeah, no, we did. I think, Mike had a huge play, Dom, late, tipping the ball out of bounds, or getting involved where they tipped the ball out of bounds. And Tevin King had a huge offensive rebound late and essentially took the ball out of their hands and didn't really give them an opportunity to win that game.
So let's go to the Denver game on Saturday. The start, obviously not a problem against Denver. 24-8 right out of the gate, and you guys go wire to wire in that game.
Yeah, our guys, Denver, we're very familiar with them. Played them back-to-back games last year, last regular season game, and then in the conference tournament. So for whatever reason, it feels like we've just played them more. But our guys did a great job. I thought it was our best defensive half of the season. We held them at half. They had made no threes, no free throws attempted, 1 offensive rebound, and no assists. I thought our guys really locked in. And even though our offense wasn't clicking right away, it came around for us because we continued to get defensive stops, and that was what I was really happy to see.
And the defense led to some great shooting. They had 54% from the floor, 12 threes, 20 of 22 from the line. Can't ask for much better shooting than you got that night.
No, Mike and David certainly had it rolling, but other guys really stepped up for us as well. And I think, when our offense is really clicking, we've got all those things going. And I think those guys did a great job. Tevin did a great job getting to the basket. Brandon Key got to the basket. Chris Howell late had some. So, I think for us to be at our best, we kind of need everybody, all hands on deck and everybody rolling. And obviously, Mike made shot after shot that were sensational, and David hit some big ones, but everybody had their A game on that side of the floor.
So this week with one fewer conference team, you got a little bit of a lull in the schedule. You don't play again until Saturday against Western Illinois. You do see other teams maybe scheduling a game here or there. Where's your thought on that, TJ, the rest versus the rust thing?
Yeah, I think with our group, we've got a veteran group of guys, and we can practice however we need to try to, give our team what they need, whether we need more scrimmaging time on the floor or more resting time in the training room. So, we played a bunch of games early. We like that approach for our group. We know our guys know the importance of every single game, so we're not as worried about our rhythm or staying in it because we know that, they value each game. And we're still on the practice floor every day. So for us, we believe this is the best way. It's a long season. We still want to continue to play our best towards the end. And I think right now for us, a little extra rest could do us some good.
Let's talk about the Leathernecks. They've got the tall task of trying to replace Garrett Covington and Mike McCluzak, and obviously they're struggling a little bit so far, haven't won a conference game yet. But this freshman kid, Kobe Webster, their guard, really is making an impact right away in his first year.
Yeah, Kobe's really dynamic scorer. I mean, he's had a similar impact on their program as David Jenkins has had on ours, and having somebody come in as a freshman who can go get 15 points a night, put the ball on the floor, and also shoots it really well from three. So he's definitely a force. And then Dallin Ankrum for them is playing at a whole nother level than he was last year. So, every league game, everybody's gunning for you. Everybody's going to give you their best shot. I know Western hadn't been fortunate in their first few games here, but it's a highly competitive league. They're going to win their share of games, and we've got to make sure that we do our part when we go in there and play Jackrabbit basketball.
Obviously, Brandon Gilbeck is a guy on the inside you got to be aware of as well. Top 10 in rebounding, top 10 in blocks. He has fouled out of 4 games this year. Is that something you remind your guys of when they go against a guy like this?
Yeah, he's probably in our league the best rim protector, shot blocker around the basket. And when you're going to do that, there's going to be times where you certainly put yourself in situations where you can foul. And he's not quite as comfortable defending on the perimeter, and we'll have to try to keep him moving around. And he's not one of those guys that you say, hey, go at him in the post, because he does a really good job of walling up and trying to make you score over the top. It's just if we have great ball movement and keep our flow and rhythm, we feel like we can keep him moving around and get him away from the basket a little bit.
And obviously their best hope is to try to slow you guys down, because that's what they do. They slow things down.
Yeah, they're better. They're trying to play more in the half court. I think they're playing a little bit lower possession games. They're defensively with him and the size that he has at the rim, it prevents you from kind of attacking early sometimes in transition and getting easy baskets. So it ultimately ends up slowing you down. So yeah, we've got to continue to play at the tempo that's best for us. I think we don't just fly it up and down, but we keep a pretty good pace and flow throughout the game, and that's what we need to do come Saturday.